Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Afolabi Brown. I am the founder of Restful Sleep MD, where I help busy moms like yourself prioritize sleep so you can live to your fullest potential. So growing up, the only thing I knew about sleep, or if I had a hard time sleeping, was to count sheep. So I don't know if that sounds familiar to you. In fact, if you look it up on Google, it's all about, counting sheep if you have difficulty sleeping. But the question is, does it actually work? And really, I think if it works for you, listen, do you. So do whatever works to get you to sleep. That is fine. But I just thought it was interesting that, why sheep? Why not birds? Why not sailboats? It was just really interesting to me. So I just wanted to talk today about why counting sheep may or may not work. So it turns out a few people actually had the same question. And several years ago now, actually, some researchers in Oxford University had actually looked at this. And what they did was they had 3 groups of people with insomnia who then they put on this experiment. So the first group, they gave them specific instructions on how to distract themselves before bed. And they also measured how long it will take them to fall asleep. The second group, they gave them some general instructions. And then the third group, they gave them no instructions. So the specific instructions that were given for the first group was really instructions on what we call guided imagery. So they told them to imagine certain scenarios. Imagine a waterfall. Imagine a birthday you enjoyed. Imagine Christmas with the family. Imagine a past or future holiday. So they really give them just pleasant things to think about, or pleasant things they could anticipate. The second group, which was more of the general instructions, they said, count sheep, just try to blank your mind, run through the day, sort of more vague instructions on what to do when they couldn't sleep. And then the third group, I said, was they didn't really give them any instructions, just go to sleep. And so they looked at these 3 groups to see which ones actually fell asleep faster. And the first group clearly had a shorter time to sleep, which we call sleep latency, meaning that it took them a much shorter time to fall asleep when they used those techniques. The general instructions group still took them longer, but a little bit shorter than the no instructions group. So it did help, but then not much different from those that had no instructions. And so to me, I think when I think about counting sheep, by the time you get to the sheep 200, it's really hard for that to catch your attention or to hold your attention. And so that might be why it was harder to get rid of, especially those intrusive thoughts or those thoughts that will be distracting you or preventing you from falling asleep, compared to that sort of guided imagery and pleasant imagery. And that group, that first group, really what they were engaging in is what you call cognitive distraction. And really what that simply means is you're replacing those unpleasant thoughts that may be running through your mind with thoughts that are more pleasant. But then the key with those thoughts is they have to hold your attention more than those unpleasant thoughts, because those unpleasant thoughts will always try to find their way. So if you find out that when you're counting sheep, it's leading to frustration, or you're starting to get distracted and then you're focusing on, oh my goodness, I'm not sleeping, what's tomorrow going to be like? It might be worth switching gears and really engaging in that cognitive distraction. Another thing that I really do recommend is when you are in bed, okay, and you're finding out that it's hard for you to shut your mind down and you're struggling, you're tossing and turning, and it's now become this place where you feel stressed out, you have this sort of emotional arousal, to just get out of bed. There's something about when you're laying down and the thoughts are flooding your mind that just really pretty much just dissolves once your feet touch the ground, because it just helps a lot better. And so once you do that, you could sit somewhere else, you could find an activity to engage in, something else that's able to distract you and hold your thoughts in in a more pleasant way than what you're experiencing. And then once you start to feel sleepy, you go back to bed. And most times it's really difficult, especially if you try to address those thoughts, and the way you want to address it differs. You may want to write down things that are going on. You may want to practice some meditation. You may want to do some breathing exercises. You may just want to journal or color or read a book, something that can take you from that state where your mind is racing to a place where you can relax and focus on something else. And once you start to feel sleepy, you go back to bed. So that's something that always helps. Get out of bed. What we call it is stimulus control, and that's really part of the umbrella term or the umbrella treatments that we use for people that have insomnia. And then the imagery piece is, again, it's being aware. There's no point in time to suppress those thoughts. Get to a point where you're like, that's interesting, and then you sort of shift gears towards something else that's more pleasant, more appealing for you. So count sheep if it works for you. For most people that I know, it doesn't. It causes frustration. Maybe try counting a sailboat instead, and let me know if that works. But more likely, I would say what you will benefit from is either getting out of bed when you can't sleep and you're finding out your mind is racing, you're feeling frustrated, or a more pleasant distraction with thoughts that are, something that you look forward to. So I hope this has been helpful. If it has, I would love it if you like this video, if you share it, and if you comment, let me know how you're feeling. Let me know how things are going. And until next time, I hope you rest well.